Macbeth, one of the most popular plays of all time. Major characters: Macbeth, a brave Scottish general filled with both ambition and self doubt. Lady Macbeth, ruthless, power starved, and portrayed as more masculine than her husband. Banquo, a successful general like Macbeth who doesn't take the witches' prophecies to heart, unfortunately for him. Macduff, Scottish nobleman whose fate is intertwined with Macbeth's. The story: as Macbeth and Banquo, two Scottish generals, return home after a successful war with Norway and Ireland. They encounter three witches who prophesy that Macbeth will become Thane of Cawdor and then King of Scotland, but also that Banquo's heirs will include a line of Scottish kings. Macbeth receives word that the king has given him the title Thane of Cawdor as a reward for his valor in the war. This gets Macbeth wondering about the witches' other predictions when he shares with his wife. Macbeth and his wife conspire to murder the king, who will be visiting them at their castle in Inverness. Macbeth ends up killing the king and his two guardsmen, whom he implicates in the king's murder. The king's two sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, flee the country, fearing their own lives are in danger. Macbeth is crowned king. Next up, Macbeth hires some men to kill Banquo and his son. Banquo is killed, but his son, Fleance, escapes. At a feast later that night, Banquo's ghost appears, but only to Macbeth, who appears to be going mad talking to it. Fearful and desperate to know the future, Macbeth seeks out the witches and asks them to tell him what's going to happen. They tell him three things. 1. He should beware Macduff. 2. He cannot be harmed by anyone born of a woman. And 3. He is not in danger until Birnam Wood comes to Dunsinane Castle. Macduff has fled Scotland to join up with Malcolm, who is raising an army to overthrow Macbeth. Macbeth orders Macduff's castle to be stormed and his family to be killed, including his wife and young son. When he hears of this, Macduff swears revenge. Meanwhile, Lady Macbeth descends into her own guilt derived madness and eventually kills herself. Macbeth fortifies himself in Dunsinane, feeling fairly secure, until that is, he hears that the English army approaches, using branches cut from Birnam Wood to camouflage their advance, fulfilling part of the witch's prophecy. The battle begins, and Macbeth meets revenge thirsty Macduff, who informs Macbeth that he was from his mother's womb, untimely ribbed. Macduff wasn't born. His mother had a caesarean delivery. The third part of the witch's prophecy comes true when Macduff slays and beheads Macbeth. The battle ends, Malcolm is crowned, and peace returns to Scotland once more.